Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the relationships in your life? Whether it's family, friends, or neighbors, the people we surround ourselves with can either uplift us or drain our energy. In today's video, we will explore the crucial importance of choosing the right relationships to foster peace and happiness in our lives. You'll discover the 3 types of neighbors you should avoid to maintain your sanity and well-being, along with the relatives who may be silently undermining your happiness. By the end of this video, you'll learn not only how to identify these toxic influences, but also how to set healthy boundaries that empower you. So if you're ready to reclaim your inner peace and create a supportive environment, stay with us until the end. Your journey towards a more fulfilling life begins right here. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now let's begin. Part 1. 3 types of neighbors to avoid in daily life. Neighbors play a pivotal role in our lives, often becoming the backdrop against which our daily experiences unfold. They are the individuals we might encounter regularly, whether it's exchanging a casual wave in passing or sharing deeper conversations over the fence. A good neighbor can be a source of support during difficult times, someone who offers a helping hand or a listening ear when life feels overwhelming. They can evolve into close friends, sharing in both the joys and sorrows that life presents, forming bonds that enrich our lives. However, it's essential to acknowledge that not every neighbor radiates positive energy or fosters a sense of community. Some neighbors can introduce a strain that seeps into our lives, bringing annoyance and frustration that can significantly affect our mental well-being and overall quality of life. The presence of toxic or negative neighbors can create an atmosphere of tension, leaving us feeling drained and uneasy in our own homes. To safeguard our peace and ensure a nurturing environment for our families, it's crucial to recognize the types of neighbors that may not be conducive to a harmonious living experience. Below, we will delve into 3 specific types of neighbors we should consider keeping at arm's length. By doing so, we protect not only our tranquility, but also the emotional health of our loved ones, fostering a home where joy and serenity can flourish. 1. The gossip. In every community, without fail, there exists a particular type of neighbor, the gossip. These individuals seem to thrive on being perpetually in the know, constantly prying into the lives of others with an insatiable curiosity. Their passion lies not merely in gathering information, but in spreading unverified gossip that can spiral out of control. They revel in sharing not just facts, but exaggerated narratives that can transform mundane details into scandalous tales that capture the attention of the entire neighborhood. These nosy neighbors have a knack for eavesdropping, and they never shy away from discussing the most intimate aspects of others' lives. From your family matters to the smallest intricacies of your daily routine, nothing is off limits. The potential for their words to become hot topics is immense, often morphing innocent details into dramatic stories that are hard to escape. Their penchant for distortion is alarming. A simple occurrence can quickly escalate into a sensational rumor that misrepresents the truth and paints you in an unfavorable light. The real danger of living near such gossips is their remarkable ability to sow seeds of unnecessary conflict and misunderstanding. A casual comment can lead to a cascade of emotions, resulting in significant fallout. Your reputation can be tarnished, family relationships can be strained, and you may find yourself unfairly scrutinized by others in the community. The emotional toll can be profound. Just one thoughtless remark can leave you feeling vulnerable and insecure, shaking your trust in those around you and leading to sleepless nights filled with worry. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. A vital philosophy to embrace is the understanding that while we cannot change the habits of gossip, we have the power to choose how we respond. By maintaining a safe distance from these individuals, we can safeguard our peace of mind It is wise to refrain from sharing personal stories or engaging in drama-filled circles. Remember, your inner tranquility and the sanctity of your life should take precedence over the need to please everyone. Don't allow the whispers and prying curiosity of gossip to disrupt the peace and happiness you so richly deserve. 2. The selfish neighbor. Another type of neighbor to keep at arm's length is the selfish one. Those individuals who are entirely consumed by their interests and well-being, often showing a blatant disregard for the needs of others. They embody a mindset that expects assistance as if it's their birthright, yet they never extend a helping hand in return. This selfish behavior breeds an unhealthy imbalance in neighborly relationships, leaving you feeling not only exploited but utterly drained from the one-sided exchanges. Take, for instance, the story of Mrs. Marge, a kind-hearted woman living in a quaint, small town. Marge had a neighbor named Peter, who was the epitome of self-absorption. He only cared about his needs and never considered how his actions, or lack thereof, affected those around him. One unfortunate day, Marge hurt her foot and found herself unable to drive, which meant she needed assistance with her grocery shopping. When Peter learned of her situation, he simply brushed her off, claiming he was too busy to help. The sting of his indifference cut deep, yet Marge, wanting to maintain a semblance of good relations, didn't hold it against him. However, just a few weeks later, Peter approached Marge with an audacious request. Could she look after his dog for an entire weekend? Wanting to be a good neighbor, Marge agreed, hoping this act of kindness might spark some reciprocity. Unfortunately, Peter's behavior only escalated from there. He began to bombard her with requests, asking her to pick up packages, clean his yard while he was away, and tend to his garden. Each time, he seemed to forget that Marge had once needed help herself. Whenever she found herself in a pinch and sought assistance, Peter would always concoct a plausible excuse to decline, leaving Marge feeling more and more like a doormat. Living next to a selfish neighbor like Peter creates a skewed and toxic relationship that can weigh heavily on your heart. Helping them often feels like pouring your energy into a bottomless pit, where your generosity goes unnoticed and unappreciated. This imbalance not only strains the relationship, but also cultivates feelings of disappointment, resentment, and mistrust. It's disheartening to realize that your kindness is taken for granted, leaving you questioning the very fabric of fairness in your interactions. The philosophy to embrace in these circumstances is the importance of recognizing and understanding your limits. It's essential to establish boundaries and not be afraid to say no when you feel the relationship has turned into an endless cycle of giving without receiving. Pay attention to how your neighbor treats not only you but also others in the community. These can provide valuable insight into their true character. Strive to maintain balance in your relationships, as a healthy neighborly bond thrives on mutual assistance and support rather than exploitation. Moreover, to protect your peace and maintain your kindness, choose to help others only when it comes from a genuine place of willingness and comfort. This approach ensures that you will not feel weighed down by the obligations or demands of a selfish person. Ultimately, learning to let go of relationships with solely self-interested neighbors is not just a means of protecting your peace. It's a necessary step toward fostering a more positive, uplifting environment around you. By distancing yourself from such toxic dynamics, you can cultivate a sense of serenity that nourishes both your spirit and your well-being. 3. The unhealthy lifestyle neighbor. The third type of neighbor you should be wary of is the one who embodies an unhealthy lifestyle. While they may not directly invade your personal space, their habits and behaviors can subtly seep into your life, negatively impacting your peace and overall quality of living. These neighbors might be those who are notorious for throwing raucous parties, engaging in heated arguments, or even partaking in illegal activities such as gambling or trafficking, banned substances. Their careless disregard for communal well-being can create a turbulent atmosphere that breeds stress and inconvenience for those around them. Neighbors with unhealthy lifestyles often demonstrate a complete lack of respect for shared spaces, leading to an array of disturbances that can disrupt your daily routine. Imagine living next door to someone who frequently blasts loud music late into the night, throwing endless parties that leave the air thick with noise and chaos. The incessant laughter and shouting echo through your walls, drowning out your attempts to relax or unwind after a long day, or picture a neighbor who carelessly scatters trash around shared areas, treating the community as their personal dumping ground. This thoughtless behavior not only creates an eyesore, but also pollutes the living environment, making it uncomfortable for everyone else. It's easy to underestimate how much another person's lifestyle can affect your own. You might come home after a stressful day at work, longing for some peace, only to be met with the jarring sounds of a neighbor's party that seems to stretch on endlessly. The music thumps through the walls, and the laughter of their friends reverberates in your ears, transforming your sanctuary into a cacophony of noise. The sense of tranquility you crave slips away, leaving you feeling irritable and drained. Even when they aren't directly disturbing you, the chaotic nature of their lifestyle can feel like a shadow looming over your home. Their impulsive and disorderly habits can create a ripple effect, diminishing your daily comfort and serenity. You might find yourself on edge, perpetually aware of the potential for disruption lurking just beyond your front door. The key to navigating this situation is to recognize the impact that these unhealthy behaviors can have on your mental and emotional well-being. It's essential to prioritize your peace and seek distance from these neighbors, allowing yourself the space to breathe and relax in your own home. Establishing boundaries is crucial. Don't hesitate to reach out to community resources if their actions encroach upon your right to enjoy your living space. Ultimately, surrounding yourself with individuals who promote a healthy, respectful lifestyle can significantly enhance your quality of life. By choosing to distance yourself from neighbors who thrive on chaos and disorder, you create an environment that fosters peace, comfort, and a sense of belonging. Your home should be a refuge, free from the disturbances that an unhealthy lifestyle neighbor can bring, allowing you to embrace a life filled with tranquility and joy. Philosophy of life for dealing with this type of neighbor. While we can't change someone else's lifestyle, we hold the power to shape our reactions and protect our peace. Living to live in an environment that promotes calm, balance, and well-being is a powerful way to safeguard both your mental health and personal happiness. Encountering neighbors with disruptive or unhealthy habits can feel like a constant test of patience. Yet by keeping a healthy distance, we can avoid the weight of their negative energy. When faced with such neighbors, it can help to begin with open, respectful discussions, kindly encouraging them to respect shared spaces. However, if polite efforts don't bring change, setting boundaries and maintaining a comfortable distance is often the best path forward. Remember, the environment we live in deeply impacts not only our physical health, but also our mental and emotional well-being. To truly live a peaceful, balanced life, choose your surroundings with intention and seek out communities that value tranquility and respect. Protecting yourself from the negativity that disruptive neighbors may bring is an act of self-care. As the saying goes, you become like those you surround yourself with, so selecting a positive, uplifting environment enables you to nurture a life filled with brightness and calm. While many of us desire warm, friendly connections with our neighbors, it's not always easy to strike the right balance between being approachable and maintaining a healthy boundary. Sometimes an overly friendly approach or a desire to be helpful can lead to unintended complications, drawing us into unnecessary troubles or even toxic dynamics. That's why setting clear boundaries is not just practical, it's essential. The poet Robert Frost famously said, "Good fences make good neighbors." This saying reflects not only the importance of physical boundaries, but also the need for emotional and relational ones. Healthy boundaries in neighborly relationships ensure that both parties respect each other's privacy and avoid overstepping into personal lives. They prevent misunderstandings, reduce unnecessary interference, and help you avoid situations that could lead to discomfort or even conflict. Ultimately, these boundaries preserve the peace you deserve in your living environment. By choosing to keep a respectful distance from neighbors with unhealthy lifestyles, give yourself room to breathe, ensuring that your life remains filled with positivity, well-being, and the serenity you've worked so hard to achieve. Number 2, 3 types of relatives to avoid. Family members occupy a unique and often cherished place in our lives. They are the people we share our blood ties with, who were there as we grew up, and with whom we've celebrated joys and endured sorrows. But as much as family can bring warmth and comfort, not all familial relationships contribute to a sense of closeness or peace. Sometimes it's those we hold dear who become sources of stress, conflict, or even exploitation, leaving us emotionally exhausted and worn out. Recognizing and accepting this reality can be tough. It goes against the idealized view we often hold of family. However, learning to create boundaries with family members who consistently impact us negatively is vital for preserving our own mental health and sense of harmony. The truth is, while we may feel an obligation to stay connected with family, prioritizing our peace and well-being sometimes means creating some emotional distance. Below are 3 types of relatives that can hinder your happiness and personal growth. Relatives who, for the sake of maintaining balance and protecting your own peace, may need to be kept at a healthy distance. Money has the power to strengthen or unravel relationships, and nowhere is this more evident than within families. A relative who borrows money with no real intention of repaying it can quietly become a source of tension, distrust, and resentment no matter how close you once were. When money enters the picture, the dynamics of a relationship often shift, introducing a level of expectation and responsibility that, if unmet, can erode even the strongest family bonds. Consider the story of Mrs. Linda and her cousin John. Driven by compassion, Linda didn't hesitate to lend John a considerable sum of money when he found himself in financial trouble, struggling to pay off debts and dreaming of starting a new business. John assured her he would repay her as soon as his business picked up, and Linda trusted his word completely. Yet, as the months rolled by, John failed to make even the smallest payment. Instead, Linda was met with a series of excuses. The business isn't stable yet. The money hasn't come in, or I'm struggling. Can you wait a little longer? When Linda finally mustered the courage to ask for her money back, John turned defensive, accusing her of being inflexible and unsupportive. The disappointment cut deep. Linda felt her trust had been betrayed, and the relationship that once felt close now felt tainted by mistrust. John not only neglected his promise, but also failed to recognize the emotional toll his actions had taken, leaving Linda disillusioned about both him and their bond. Takeaway philosophy. It's often said, don't let money ruin a relationship. However, it's equally important not to let family ties turn you into someone who could be taken advantage of. Helping a relative in need is generous, even noble, but it's crucial to protect both your heart and your finances. Before lending money, especially to family, take a step back to consider the impact. Set boundaries, establish clear terms, and remember that a healthy relationship is built on mutual respect and responsibility. When you sense that a family member has no real intention of repaying you, don't be afraid to maintain your distance or say no to future requests. How to handle this situation? Sending this sensitive situation requires a blend of honesty, compassion, and firmness. Have an open conversation with your relative, explaining that while you care for them and want to help, fairness and responsibility are essential for both sides. Express that you value the relationship and don't want financial matters to damage it, which is why repayment, or at least some commitment, is essential. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. If repayment is not possible, consider finding alternative ways to assist them that don't involve lending money. Offer your time, advice, or support in other non-financial ways, which may relieve you from feeling financially stretched. Above all, recognize your limits and respect them. Don't let a sense of obligation drain you both financially and emotionally. Money is, at the end of the day, material, but if mishandled, it can damage irreplaceable relationships. Remember, clear money matters create clear relationships. Approach family finances with transparency and fairness, ensuring that respect and trust remain intact for years to come. Another relative worth keeping at a distance is the one who places their interests above everyone else's, disregarding your emotions, needs, and sacrifices. This type of person will take what they can from you without a second thought, treating the relationship as transactional rather than genuine. They continuously expect more from you, but fail to reciprocate unless it directly benefits them. When they no longer have anything to gain, they're quick to disappear, leaving you to feel used and abandoned. This person exploits your kindness and attention, but will never be there for you when you're struggling, clearing only excuses, claiming to be too busy, or worse, acting as if you don't exist. Such self-serving relatives create one-sided relationships that are emotionally draining, demanding your time, energy, and resources without giving anything meaningful in return. This type of relationship can leave you feeling exhausted and disheartened as you continuously pour out support and compassion, hoping that they might eventually return the favor. Fortunately, expecting a selfish person to change often leads to disappointment as their self-centeredness is deeply ingrained. Philosophy of life. True family relationships should be rooted in empathy, mutual support, and a sense of shared responsibility. While family ties are important, a healthy family bond requires balance, where both sides feel valued and appreciated. If one side is always giving without receiving any genuine care or consideration, the relationship becomes unfair and unhealthy, undermining the sense of respect and love that should define family. How to handle this type of person? When dealing with a self-serving relative, setting boundaries is essential for preserving your self-respect and well-being. Make it clear that your support is not a given, but a choice grounded in mutual care and respect. Don't hesitate to say no when their demands become too burdensome, and be cautious when offering help to avoid feeling taken advantage of. If you notice that they only engage with you when it serves their interests, remind yourself that family connections, while important, don't require you to meet every demand, especially when they come at a personal cost with no acknowledgement in return. Living by principles of fairness and respect is essential in maintaining a healthy relationship with family. If someone's actions repeatedly reveal that they are only interested in what you can provide, setting boundaries and keeping a respectful distance can protect your peace and well-being. Ultimately, a balanced, happy life is built on relationships that uplift and nourish, and sometimes choosing distance is the healthiest way to preserve your harmony. 3. The lazy and dependent relative. The presence of a lazy and dependent relative can weigh heavily on the heart, especially when it feels as if the entirety of their future has become your responsibility. Such individuals may lack motivation, preferring to take the easier route by relying on family, instead of striving for personal growth and independence. This often leaves the caregiver feeling overwhelmed, stretched thin by an endless cycle of giving that never seems to inspire change. When dependence becomes habitual, they no longer view it as a kindness, but as an expectation, leaving the supporter feeling like nothing more than a source of financial support and a safety net. Take, for instance, the story of Mr. Joe, a retired gentleman who had dreamed of spending his later years in peace, supported by his hard-earned savings. His son, Adam, was once employed but lost his job due to a lack of commitment and responsibility. Instead of learning from his mistakes and attempting to turn his life around, Adam moved back home, finding comfort in his father's pension rather than striving for self-sufficiency. Every morning he slept in, oblivious to the responsibilities of adult life. He left household chores untouched and made no effort to seek employment or contribute to the home. It was Mr. Joe who bore the weight of daily expenses, from groceries to utility bills, while Adam enjoyed a life free of effort. One day, Mr. Joe made a heartbreaking discovery. Adam, instead of using this time to improve, had been wasting money on frivolities like video games and outings. The final blow, however, came when he overheard Adam speaking to his friends on the phone, saying, "My dad always has my back. I don't have to worry about anything. He even worries about my future more than I do." This offhand comment shattered Mr. Joe's heart. The realization hit him that in his attempt to help his son, he had inadvertently enabled him to be complacent, entitled, and irresponsible. Adam's dependency had spiraled beyond a mere financial burden, tugging instead at Mr. Joe's emotional strength and pride as a father. Each dollar spent, every sleepless night spent worrying for Adam, felt thankless and futile. It pained him to see his son fall further into idleness and ingratitude, rather than using his support as a stepping stone towards a brighter, independent future. This cycle of unending dependency felt more than draining. It was heartbreaking. Mr. Joe had hoped to see his son flourish, not sink deeper into complacency. In that painful moment, he understood the double-edged nature of his kindness and the silent toll it had taken on his soul. He yearned for a way to break this cycle, to give Adam a chance to stand on his own 2 feet and ultimately respect the efforts of those who truly love him. Philosophy of life drawn from this story. The story of Mr. Joe and his son, Adam, offers a powerful philosophy on the delicate balance between kindness and self-preservation. When our generosity is taken for granted, it's a signal to set boundaries and redefine the nature of support. Helping families through difficult times is a noble and loving act, but when help becomes a crutch that enables dependency and laziness, it can trap loved ones in a cycle where they lose the incentive to grow. Sometimes the most compassionate thing we can do is to say no, allowing them to discover the strength and resilience they might not yet realize they possess. Dealing with a dependent relative calls for both firmness and empathy. It's not easy to refuse when a loved one asks for help, especially when we feel a sense of duty towards family. Yet, encouraging them towards independence by limiting our support is a lesson in accountability. True kindness isn't about unconditional support. It's about empowering others to stand on their own, face life's challenges, and understand the pride that comes from earning their way. This type of tough love not only safeguards our own emotional and financial health, but also pushes them toward a journey of self-respect and responsibility. Boundaries are essential because relationships with dependent family members can easily drain us emotionally, mentally, and financially. To protect our well-being and to truly help them, we must sometimes redefine what our assistance looks like. Perhaps as the old saying goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Its timeless wisdom highlights that real support is about providing tools for independence, not just temporary relief. Helping someone become self-sufficient builds their self-worth and brings peace and satisfaction to us. Empowering loved ones to be resilient and capable creates a cycle of growth, trust, and mutual respect, ultimately giving both them and us a lasting sense of fulfillment. Part 3. The philosophy of choosing and letting go. The importance of choosing relationships in life. Relationships form the very fabric of our lives, shaping our daily experiences, our outlook, and ultimately our happiness. They can be incredible sources of inspiration, warmth, and companionship, gifts that make life feel full of joy and purpose. But there's another side. Relationships can also become burdens, weighing heavily on our minds and hearts. Whether it's a family member, a friend, or even a neighbor, each connection we keep has the power to either lift us or drain us entirely. This is why the art of selecting our relationships wisely is one of life's most important skills. When we choose to be surrounded by people who radiate positivity and who believe in growth, kindness, and empathy, we experience an inner peace that can't be found elsewhere. Life in those moments becomes brighter, lighter, and full of possibility. Being with such people often leaves us feeling supported, valued, and empowered, filling our hearts with a sense of belonging and joy. Imagine starting each day knowing that the people around you truly uplift your spirit. That's the beauty of choosing wisely. On the flip side, when we hold on to relationships with people who harbor negativity, who are solely focused on their own needs, or who lead lives clouded by bitterness, it chips away at our spirit. These kinds of connections drain us, leaving us exhausted, anxious, and at times, questioning our faith in the goodness of others. The emotional toll they take can cloud our sense of purpose, leaving us feeling heavy and discouraged. It's crucial to recognize this impact and to understand that distancing yourself from such people is not selfish. It's an act of self-preservation, a necessary step toward peace. Choosing positive, healthy relationships is not only about creating a happier life, but also about protecting our minds from negativity that doesn't serve us. Life is too precious to be spent around people who don't respect, cherish, or truly care for us. Pay attention to the way others make you feel. Do they treat you with genuine respect and kindness? Do they show sincerity in their actions? These small gestures reveal the true nature of a relationship. Never fear creating space for those who bring distress or discomfort into your life. Each choice to distance yourself from negativity is a step toward building the environment you desire, a place where you can feel safe, valued, and at ease. In choosing your relationships with intention, you're not just setting boundaries. You're shaping a life where peace, happiness, and genuine connection have room to thrive. 2. Knowing how to let go of toxic relationships. Letting go of toxic relationships is one of life's most difficult yet essential challenges. We often hold on to these bonds, whether they're with longtime friends, neighbors, or even family members, out of a sense of loyalty, familiarity, or fear of causing pain. These connections may have once held meaning, or we may feel responsible for the other person's well-being. But if a relationship constantly drains you, disrupts your peace, and tilts your life off, balance. Letting go becomes an act of self-preservation, a way to reclaim your own happiness and mental health. Letting go doesn't mean severing all communication or harboring resentment. It's not about anger or bitterness. Instead, it's about setting a respectful distance, a protective boundary that prevents you from being dragged into emotional turmoil, unnecessary stress, or dependency that leaves you feeling weighed down. In choosing to let go, you prioritize your well-being and make space for a healthier, more fulfilling life. It's about honoring yourself and understanding that you deserve relationships that uplift, not those that burden you. Yes, this choice is incredibly hard, and it often comes with waves of guilt and sadness. You might question if you're doing the right thing or worry about hurting the other person. But remember, your peace is priceless, and you are not obligated to sacrifice it for the sake of others who may not respect it. True balance and happiness sometimes require the courage to let go of what no longer serves you, even if it's painful. It's a hard truth, but one that leads to a more peaceful, centered life. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. When you make this choice, remind yourself that it's okay to put yourself first. Emotional health is essential, and no relationship, no matter how long-standing or close, should compromise your inner peace. While the path to letting go is rarely easy, it is a journey of self-respect and love. You are creating space for growth, balance, and new relationships that honor who you are and what you need. So take a deep breath, trust in your strength, and remember, sometimes choosing peace means choosing yourself. 3. Respecting yourself and building quality relationships. At the core of any meaningful relationship lies the strength of self-respect. When we truly value ourselves, we radiate a positive energy that naturally draws in people who mirror that respect and kindness. Healthy, fulfilling relationships aren't built on superficial ties, but on foundations of sincerity, mutual respect, and support that flow both ways. These are the connections that make life vibrant, that uplift us on our best days and our hardest. It's so important not to feel guilty for saying no to people who drain you or make you feel less than whole. This refusal isn't selfish. It's an act of honoring your worth, a demonstration of self-love that shows you believe you deserve better. Choosing the right people means welcoming friends, family, and neighbors who bring genuine sincerity into your life and who are there to celebrate in times of joy and provide comfort in moments of need. These are the relationships that respect your privacy and understand the boundaries that protect your peace. And only when you respect yourself can you attract and nurture these kinds of relationships. In doing so, you're not only building bonds, but creating a circle of peace, trust, and genuine happiness around you. Life is made up of countless choices, each one shaping the path you walk. To live peacefully and happily, it's essential to take an active role in filtering the relationships that surround you. Keep close to the people who help you grow, who make your life feel lighter, and who release those who disrupt your balance or bring negativity. Cherishing yourself and putting your inner peace at the forefront of your decisions are the keys to cultivating relationships that truly matter. In choosing this path, you'll find a life filled with quality relationships that bring lasting joy and an unshakable sense of happiness. Part 4. The Philosophy of Human Value, the story of the stone. One day, a young monk full of questions and searching for life's deeper meaning approached his wise and trusted master with a heartfelt query. "Master, what is the true value of a human life?" he asked, hoping for clarity. The master, a man whose wisdom was renowned, looked at his disciple with a calm smile, recognizing the significance of the question. Rather than providing an immediate answer, he gave the young monk an unusual instruction, knowing that experience would speak louder than words. "Go to the garden," the master began, "and select a stone. Clean it carefully so it shines and take it to the market. Place the stone out in the open, and if anyone asks its price, do not say a single word. Really hold up 2 fingers, and if someone makes an offer, do not sell it. Bring it back to me, and I will reveal the value of life to you." The young monk, though confused by the task, trusted his master deeply and knew there was wisdom in every lesson he provided. The next morning, with the first rays of dawn peeking over the mountains, the young monk went to the garden, found a stone, and polished it until it gleamed. Being both curious and excited, he set off toward the busy marketplace, a place brimming with the energy of townspeople, traders, and travelers alike. Arriving at the market, the young monk positioned himself in a lively area and held the stone, out for display, following his master's instructions closely. People bustled past, some curious, some indifferent, and others throwing puzzled glances at the monk with his polished stone. Soon enough, a woman stopped and, intrigued by the stone's shine, approached him with a gentle smile. "Young man, how much is this stone?" she asked as her gaze shifted between the stone and the young monk's calm demeanor. Without a word, the monk held up 2 fingers, just as his master had instructed. The woman looked slightly puzzled. "Tula," she inquired, studying the monk's expression. In reconsidering, she added with a playful chuckle, "Actually, how about $20? I think I could use this as a nice weight to press pickles." The young monk was astonished. $20 seemed a high offer for a seemingly simple rock, something he had found without any apparent value. However, he remembered his master's instructions and refrained from selling it, bowing politely to the woman before returning with the stone. His mind filled with questions. When he arrived back at the monastery, the master listened carefully as the young monk recounted his experience. The master nodded thoughtfully and, with a knowing smile, said, "Good. Tomorrow, I want you to take the same stone to the museum in town. Display it again, just as you did today. If anyone asks its price, hold up 2 fingers just as before. If someone makes an offer, do not sell it. Bring it back here instead." This is all part of the lesson. The young monk, now filled with both curiosity and anticipation, set out the next morning to the museum, clutching the stone with a newfound sense of wonder. Entering the museum, he felt the weight of silence and awe within its walls, a place devoted to artifacts and pieces of history. He positioned himself with the stone, and soon visitors began to notice him. Some observed the stone from a distance, while others came closer, intrigued by its smooth surface and the mystery of why this monk was standing in a museum with it. After a while, a well-dressed visitor approached, admiring the stone with a keen eye. "How much is this stone?" the man asked, clearly captivated by its simple beauty. The young monk raised his 2 fingers, following the master's instructions once again. Without hesitation, the visitor said, $200 then? His voice was eager, filled with genuine interest, as if the stone held something unique, or perhaps even $2,000. "I'd like to purchase it as a piece for a new sculpture I'm working on." The young monk, taken aback by the dramatic increase in the stone's value, bowed slightly, and as instructed, declined the offer, taking the stone back to his master. Returning to the monastery, the monk eagerly recounted his experience at the museum. "Master, today, the stone was valued at as much as $2,000. I can't believe the difference from yesterday," he exclaimed, his heart racing with amazement. The master listened, his face calm, and he said, "Tomorrow, there is one final place. I want you to take this stone. Go to the finest antique shop in the city. Do as you have done before, show the stone, and if someone makes an offer, return with it unsold. When you come back, I will finally tell you the meaning behind this." With a mixture of awe and intrigue, the young monk prepared for his final destination. Early the next morning, he journeyed to the antique shop, one known for its unique and valuable items. As he entered, he could feel the richness of history embedded in the room, and he carefully placed the stone on the counter. Almost immediately, the stone caught the eye of a collector browsing nearby. The collector approached with a discerning look, carefully inspecting the stone's texture and craftsmanship. "How much for this exquisite stone?" the collector asked, his voice filled with fascination. Again, the monk raised 2 fingers just as before. The collector paused, then said, "2,000, perhaps?" But after a moment's hesitation, his interest deepened. "No, this is a rare find. How about $200,000? I must have it." The young monk was speechless. 2,000 for the same stone he had found in the garden. The offer was far beyond anything he could have imagined. Eager to understand the lesson, he bowed, turned down the offer, and returned to his master, his mind ablaze with questions. The master welcomed the monk back with a kind smile, seeing the awe on his face. "Master," the monk began, his voice brimming with wonder. In the market, the stone was worth only $20. At the museum, it rose to $2,000. But at the antique shop, someone was willing to pay $200,000. I am amazed. How can a simple stone change in value so dramatically? The master, seeing his student's astonishment, gently explained, "My child, the stone's worth varied greatly because of the value that others placed on it. At the market, it was seen as something common and useful, priced at $20. At the museum, where people recognized it as something with potential, it became worth $2,000. Finally, at the antique shop, where it was perceived as rare and special, it reached a value of $200,000. But remember, the stone itself never changed. Its value shifted only because of where it was placed and the significance others saw in it. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment for below to let me know that you are still here with me." The master continued, his words filled with quiet wisdom. "Just like the stone, the value of human life is shaped by the environment, the perceptions of others, and most importantly, how one perceives oneself. Place yourself in surroundings that elevate you, in the presence of those who appreciate your worth, and you will find yourself valued. But if you remain in negative environments where others don't respect or acknowledge your abilities, it is difficult for your true value to be seen." He looked intently at the young monk and added, "This story is about more than material worth. It carries a profound message about the value of human life and self-worth. Just as the stone's value was not fixed, so too is the value of each person. Life's worth isn't about monetary gain or status. It's about finding environments, relationships, and paths that allow you to realize your potential. Seek out places and people who recognize your abilities, support your growth, and respect who you are. Only then can you see and express the fullness of your true worth." The young monk listened with newfound understanding, realizing that his worth was not defined by how others saw him, but by the choices he made and the places he positioned himself in. The story of the stone, a simple object that held so much wisdom, left him with a deeper sense of purpose and a commitment to surround himself with environments that honored his true value. In choosing paths that uplifted him and people who cherished him, he would come to understand his worth, a journey that would bring him peace, fulfillment, and a life rich in meaning. As we wrap up the story of the stone and the profound lesson on human value, take a moment to reflect. What have you learned about self-worth, the power of choosing your environment, and the Importance of surrounding yourself with people who see your true potential? Think about how you can apply this lesson in your own life to embrace your value fully. Share one insight or action you're inspired to bring into practice in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. Thank you for watching.